and thank you for such a elaborate introduction, I would say. Just excuse me for a little disturbance in my internet connection. I am working via an hotspot. If at any point I'm not audible, just unmute yourself and let me know. So, good evening, friends. I'm very sure that people who are over here, these are the people who are really keen about understanding human psyche and human behavior, because that's what psychology is all about. Later comes the part where it is cyber psychology or where it is any other type of psychology. But eventually, what we are talking about is the human psyche, which is something that has drew me from, I'm going to share today only and only my story. Hopefully it will inspire many more of you who would start believing that you should never ever give up on your dreams. And it was this whole quest of understanding human psyche and human behavior is what led me into this profession. I got into psychology at almost mid career, or I would say after 20 years of having an established IT field career. So it's never too late to follow your passion. I started my career, or rather say education, since I was a bright student and I scored decently well way back in class 10 in early 90s. Yeah, well, don't be shocked. It was not that I skipped some classes. But yes, 90s, I'm talking about early 90s. When I passed out, I got good marks. And in those days, Indian context is very different compared to the families outside, the education systems outside. Now, I also had a very strong desire to take up arts and to get into humanities. But back then, in early 90s, everything revolved around the kind of marks you've got. So if you've got anything that is going to give you admissions in science stream and commerce stream, your family will never allow you to take up arts, because they say you are bright. Why do you want to go in arts? That is for children who do not score. I'm so glad that today this has changed. The whole perspective has changed. And in fact, humanities is the most sought after field and the stream today. And of course, the marks required have also risen to a great extent. However, what I believe is that whatever happens in life is definitely for our good. And the only matter is of having faith, because at that point, maybe you don't realize that it's for your good, but eventually life proves it to you. So it's all about having faith. So I did my graduation in commerce while every day fighting with my family that I'm not enjoying this, I want to do something else. So at that point of time in early 90s in India, these careers were not so popular. There weren't even much options. The moment you say that you want to get into psychology, immediate reaction would be, do you want to work with mad people? That used to be the reaction during our times. And look today where we are. We are actually having a conference which talks about tremendous potential in this field. So we have come a long way. And same way, if you don't give up your passion, or if you feel that just because early on you did not get to do, after doing my commerce in Indian, or rather in my state, I'm from Bombay, and in Maharashtra, there are not many universities or colleges that are open to allow you to do your master's in psychology. So I could not do. I did my master's also in commerce, but since my interest was always humans and human behaviors, I chose my master's in organizational behavior. Again, it was all about dealing with humans in an organization, in a work environment. So what I'm trying to say from this is that if you are really passionate, and passion is something that is core of this stream, being only a graduate who's academically brilliant in this domain, you will never have work satisfaction, neither will you really have any kind of a goal to move forward. Because what drives this field more than the money, more than your any other requirement, it's the passion. Nobody teaches you this. because it's something that's inherent. It comes from your own personality, it comes from your environment, and it also comes from your experiences in life. So how you are as a person, if you assess that, if you find yourself first, then it becomes easier to step on to a career that you are going to enjoy for the rest of your life. While I was in school and college, there was nothing like career counseling. There was nothing like career assessment. It was only meant for children who plan to do engineering and go abroad to study. And at that point, I passed out my graduation in 97. At that point, it used to be only and only 12% of graduates who would go for masters outside India. And that counseling was only for study abroad children. So we never had these kind of privileges or accesses to find out our own personalities, because career counseling is incomplete without understanding your own self, your personality, who you are, what are your career goals, what are your career beliefs, what are your learning styles, what kind of brain personality are you right dominant, are you left dominant, are you a cross brain profile. So investing time in ourselves, in knowing ourselves, is extremely important, rather than running after a degree, a certificate, or a job. All that will fall in place, and you will hit the right nail only and only when you know yourself. Simple aptitude can tell me, like I have good aptitude, I scored well, and if I do my career assessment now, it says I can also pursue medical. But am I inclined to that field? Is my personality suitable to that field? Is If these answers are not met, you will always reach a stage where there will be a midlife crisis, as we call, and then we want to switch, and then we want to give up an established career, and then we go through a lot of stress that where will I get income from, because once your family life starts, your earning cannot stop. So all of these happen if we have not found the right direction, and the first step to finding the right direction is with self. Put time in knowing yourself. So in my journey, after doing my MCOM with organizational behavior, I also pursued fashion, because at that point there were no only industrial psychologists were hired by organizations to work in that spectrum. And despite of me doing my masters in organizational behavior, I still could not get into work field where I could deal with the day-to-day work environment scenario, what you typically industrial psychologists will do. So I switched on to fashion because that was next best thing that I liked. And while I was doing fashion, realized after doing my diploma and working with women, and then that's when I realized I cannot work with women who are about to get married. They are extremely hyper, they are extremely anxious, and their body sizes are changing every single day. So it was a nightmare for me. I lost 3 kgs in that whole bargain of just making two trousseaux, is where my mom put a foot down that, look, you're not working in this industry anymore. So again, that door was closed and I didn't know what to do. And I did not want to take up a commerce job. So the next possibility that I saw was the time that was about 1999, where computers and internet was introduced in India. And that was the first thing I hopped onto. We were the lucky ones where my family got me a computer with a dial-up connection. And in those days, there was no institute to teach you how to use internet or what to do with internet. It was all about either you are connecting and having some pen friends online or certain messengers. So Yahoo Messenger, ICQ, these were the times where it had started and it had got popular. But as I mentioned, that if you are inclined, if you are the one who says, okay, if not this, next what? So same way, when I got this opportunity, I started learning online how do these web pages work. And I created a first teaching module, and then I went and approached an institute where I asked them that, hey, look, do you want to teach audience how to make websites? I will help, because I've learned it myself. I prepared a module and let's get started. That's how my IT career started. Besides this, I also started learning animation, which was 2D field. And in those days, there was no 3D animation, so it was only 2D. Unfortunately, the problem with 2D field was that there was only career which was working in night shifts, because the softwares used to be so heavy. To render even a 1.5 minute film or a video or an animated script that we have created, it would take us about 4 hours. And with dial-up connection, the only time possible was when the rest of the city or the country goes to sleep. 2 and 3 o'clock is where you keep your file for rendering, and morning 6 it will be ready. Now, because it was a night shift job, there were hesitations from home and all, so that door was closed again. Why I'm sharing this is to tell you all that if one door closes, many more open. It's about having that faith. It's about having that positive attitude. I come from a family where working was never an important requirement. I come from a Gujarati family where women initially were not even expected to be educated. I mean, 12th bhi kar liya, shadi kara do, work is done. But for me, luckily, my family has been my biggest support, and they always said, "Okay, do what you like." And that's where I believe that, if this door has closed, next will open. So by then, the 2020 boom came in, not the 2020, 2000, 2K is what we call it. The boom came in, and the web industry just flared up. And that's where, from teaching, I went on to starting a company which is still date in existence. And then we moved on and moved on and moved on. 4 years I coded myself, made a lot of portals. And again, the quest of who is going to use this website, who is the audience for this particular app that we are making, how do they think on internet, that continuously was playing on my head, because just making a website was not good enough. It has to give you returns, it has to tell who, what, I mean, supposedly what you are looking for today. If at that particular, if, for example, take Netflix, how would they make their platform better and better is only when they understand what are you looking for. So same quest drove me towards that field. And in those days, cyber psychology as a term was not present in India. I'm talking of about 2007. In those days, if you wanted to study in depth the user behavior online, there was only one program which was called as usability analysis. It was in context of understanding user behavior online in context of web domain or the product design industry. And I went ahead, I did a course from US on that. And since 2007, my journey into this entire domain of internet and human, this interaction and understanding what is and how is it impacting us, how are our decisions being impacted, day-to-day lives being impacted, has changed. Initially, the usage or the application area was restricted because internet had still not reached household, had still not reached to personal level. It was more of a business level, it was more of a transactional level, and hence the challenges were of different nature. So security was something which was very much in demand earlier thereon, and that's how we founded another sister company, which I'm a director of today. It is V4Web Cybersecurity. So the first cybercrime that we had dealt with was, one of my clients, his client had defamed him on, there was only one portal which is called as India Mart. It still exists today, but in back then when Google was not what Google is today, that was the portal where, your whole business reputation is at stake. So that's how this whole journey had started. And then in that process, where I thought that, now that my company has, it has a team and it's on its own and all, I really want to do something back for the society. I want to do something, I want to deal with this. And while I was also mother by then, and I was having a kid who was being exposed to technology. My kid was featuring in a movie, and that's where we had to give him a smartphone, because he was just 10 years old, or not even 10, I think he was 7 years old when this happened. And since he was traveling with the entire crew, he had to coordinate with them. So the only way was WhatsApp. In those not WhatsApp, there was another this thing. So that's what we gave him. And that's where this whole quest started, that look, a smartphone in a child's hand, where can it lead and what can it lead to, is what got me into doing these kind of awareness shows and awareness campaigns. I started my work with absolute passion, not just for my child, but I was like, I want to leave this planet and this entire internet space safer for the younger generations coming up. So I'm not saying that it's like, you know, we all have to have these kind of larger than life goals. But when we have larger than life goals, our contributions begin early on. We don't wait till the right opportunity, till the right career. I never waited to get my certificate or get my qualification as a cyber psychologist on this. All I needed was to understand what internet is about, which technically I was very well versed with, that what is possible technically and how we can manipulate technically to the users also. And secondly, understanding human psyche. So that's how, with that knowledge, I teamed up with friends who were into drama and street plays and all. So we used to go to the schools and we would do those nukkad notankis in school. We would actually enact, because in those days all the children did not still have access to a personal device, or in the schooling, your internet and laptops and computers were still not part of. However, they were still accessing from their parents device either a YouTube or some game. And this education, the earlier you begin, is the better, that you can instill certain values and all. So in form of drama and dance, we would explain to them what exactly is bullying, how it happens on internet medium. And from there on, we went on to create modules. And so now I would have worked with about almost 120 odd schools, colleges, universities. I've done a lot of campaigns with police, Mumbai Police, Pune Police, and even with UNICEF. And we've done campaigns. Then I've done campaigns on my own portal. So during these workshops, there was one thing that was very common, that after the workshop, I and my team would be actually gathered by all the kids who would want to share that, ma'am, this has happened to me, this has happened to me, or I have done this, now how to do that. And that's where we thought that we can address only while the time we are there. Later on, what? And none of them were really, comfortable going and talk to their parents, because parents are still, not every parent is from IT background, or they have their own challenges, and not necessarily they are even aware what's happening with the child's life. That's where we created this organization. I started this voluntary organization called CyberBAP, which stands for Cyberbullying Awareness, Action, and Prevention. It initially started as a Facebook page where people could write to us, could reach out, and we would provide them solutions, handheld them. It always used to be, initial work used to be, speak to the parents, explain to them that these are new age mistakes and they could happen, and then speak, help the victims get over these. Unfortunately, the rise was so high that Facebook alone was not, it was not able to cater to all the audiences. And that's where in 2018 and 19 is where I launched the portal, where anyone who's ever been victim of cyberbullying online can report. We handheld them, we guide them how to report it, how to take it to the police, how to put it across to your parents, and how to deal with this. Besides this, then also investigations, legal services. So like, Dr. Rakesh was mentioning, that it's all about collaboration. Alone we cannot say that, hey, look, now I'm into cyber psychology, I want to also get into cyber law, and I want to get into cyber investigations. No, it just doesn't work this way. The important thing over here is that, while, if you are in that learning mode, you will automatically get opportunities. Cyber psychology is actually a 30-year-old term, though in India it may not even be older than 5 years or so. Is where the first time when I got my certification was like, okay, what is this? Till date people ask me, what do you mean by that? What exactly do you do? So that it is still going to take time, because we do have varied audiences, and the reach is very different over here. But in US, in UK, this has been a term which is age old. It was, however, limited to research domain very largely. Now, because of the exponential growth of consumption of internet at a minuscule level has increased so much that it has opened up far many avenues, like all that Dr. Rakesh has explained. I will share the areas where I work in. So along with, to me, what cyber psychology means, in very simply put, is that if I am interacting with something, I would want to know what is it doing to me, or how is it influencing me. It could be in any area of life. For example, if you are making friends, don't you sit back and see that, hey, look, this is what I really love about my friend, this is how my friends influence me, this is how. And a lot of us is all about our surroundings. That's why it's said that humans are social beings. We cannot live in isolation, we cannot function in isolation. We are byproducts of our family, of our friends, of our school environment, the teachers and all of the curriculum that we are studying. All of this influences and shapes us. Now that internet is added, so how is internet and my interaction with it shaping up me as a person? Each one of you, I would just say that take 10 minutes towards the end of the day, but think about it, that in last 2 years, what have been those personality changes in you over this? Because during, why last 2 years? It's the pandemic time, and the only recuse that each one of us had was internet. That was the only place we could go to, since we all were locked into our houses. And of course, now that we are using it for education purpose, also for communication, also for meetings, for conference, for everything, from entertainment to the even the condolences and all are happening online. So life has completely changed and revolved around technology. So sit back, write down how and where has it changed you as a person. Begin from here, and it will become easier for you to understand, not just read about it. Of course, reading is important because there is tons of research done by other countries. Indian context, we do have very, very less research. I remember someone asking that question that, should I do research on teenagers in India? Now, I had done that while I was doing my master's, and my thesis was on impact or the relationship between internet time usage and depression and stress in general. And my target audience in this research was teenagers. So it is the need of the hour, because we as a country are very young country, meaning that the young population in our country is far large in number compared to the older. And the consumption of internet, understanding of internet, usage of internet is much higher by the younger. Plus, a stitch in time saves nine. So early on, if you catch on, early on, if you identify these issues, you can fix them in a longer one. You educate a child, that education is going to go with him in his adulthood as well. For adults, the education begins with first unlearning what they have learned earlier and then getting on to the new learnings. So irrespective that, whether you want to do research with, I would simply suggest that do it for all audiences. Take a decent number, 200 to 250 as your sample audience, and do it for different age groups to get the different perspectives. Maybe you put it across in your final or in your thesis just for one group, but for your understanding, since if you're planning to explore this field more and more, is where you do. Now there are currently four big avenues in our country where you as a cyber psychologist can get a lot of work. The biggest domain is awareness, because currently awareness is the only form of prevention that we have. So awareness is one field where there is tremendous scope to work. And trust me, you don't have to wait till you get a proper degree or certificate in cyber psychology. All you need to do is be passionate about it and read and learn, attend these webinars, join organizations who are into this kind of work. Like Dr. Rakesh has also given an open invitation to anyone who's interested. So are we welcoming anyone who wants to join us in our voluntary organization. So awareness is one domain. The second domain is about investigations and assistance in investigations. So it revolves around the behavioral analysis or net profiling, as we call it as. So that's another area where I work largely, is in terms of profiling people online. The MTV show that I did, that exactly was my role over there, to profile the trolls, to identify who of these are actually psychopaths or sociopaths or having any kind of clinical conditions, and vis-a-vis who are the ones who are accidental trolls, who have not realized where to draw the line, and hence they have become trolls themselves. Then the third avenue, the profiling work goes with investigation. So the scope of work is with a lot of cybersecurity companies, with investigators, whether they are with the state or they are private investigators, and with the police. Since this whole cybercrime purview is also new for policing, police of any state and every state is very open to having professionals in their this thing. We've been providing regular trainings to police in 2 3 aspects. Of course, one is how to deal with the cyber victims as well. That's what I work on with them, because here the wounds are not visible. Here, nobody is going to believe you whether you say so. The evidence is the most important aspect. So net profiling is a very, very important field over here. The third domain is about, sorry, the third domain is using it in business, in marketing, which is where I work on. So in terms of understanding, whether you are into web medium, whether you are into any industry, psychology is the key. And today, cyber psychology is the key, because there is no industry which is independent of internet access, or is not using any other element of internet. So cyber is part of every industry, and hence the need to understand audiences from that perspective is, especially post the pandemic, the way businesses work has also changed. They have also gone virtual, they've also gone in digital spaces, and they want to connect to their audience on digital spaces. And that's where you have the biggest and the most profitable scope, is where if you understand how to apply this knowledge into marketing avenue. Not only marketing, brand positioning, branding, digital communication, and digital well-being. These are the avenues with the corporates and with the business where you can work on. Not only do the cases, like, see, in India, I'll give you a very realistic picture. We are not a country that believes in prevention. हम कुआं तभी खोदते हैं जब आग लग जाती है. पहले से we will not have right kind of resources in place for prevention. वो तो because there are these set rules that if your premise does not have enough of fire safety environment, fire safety tools, you may not get your certification or shop and establishment certifications to move forward, and that's where we do. But honestly, we are not into prevention. Prevention तभी ही लोगों को याद आता है जब there is some problem. The only place where prevention can be instilled is at the educational institutes. So like even Dr. Rakesh said that, becoming a coach and all of this is a great stream, though it is going to be tough because educational institutes are the worst paymasters. I'm telling you this from my own experience. Most of them say that, but we are just an educational institute. While they are the highest fee seekers, I'm not saying anything directly to 3G. I'm saying in general, across the globe, this is a fact. Whether it is outside India, whether it is within India, they are not really great paymasters until and unless it has been mandated by the government. And that's where working with NCWs, Chair for Women and Child Safety or UNICEF is the way of entry through this. Yeah, the only way otherwise you can get into a school is becoming a school counselor. And many schools are now coming up with that. So some of the international schools who are well funded and who are going to have those kind of resources to give, they will have a separate cyber psychologist also, besides having a school psychologist. Otherwise they are always looking for one person knowing everything. So these are realistic pictures. Things will change, but it is going to be a slow change. So don't get disappointed. Stay put, stay there, work on your own vision, that what is that you want to do and what is that drives you to do that. So these are some avenues where you can work, where you can make a difference. And the last but the no, but the most important is the research domain. It's the least paying in our country unless you are doing this research with a private institute or a private funded institute, or a company. Otherwise it's the least. Most of the people, they would take you as an assistant, because the research master will always be someone who's already a PhD, and they'll take you as an assistant. And all these things I'm telling you from my personal experiences, as well as how the industry works. Things will change, no doubts. This domain, this field is here to stay. It has just started. Don't go just behind the names and the labels. Don't get carried away by that. Oh, I do not have a certification, or this is this expensive, it's that expensive. No. If you look at the curriculum of what institutes are teaching, once you are in the field, it's always best. So for example, if some of y'all are doing over here Bachelor of Arts and in psychology, like BA psychology or MA psychology, no matter what specialization you get to choose, you can always continue your education, continue to learn. That's what is more important, not just having a degree without any experience. The best time to have a specialization is always after at least 2 years of your work experience, because that's where you're going to be more clear that this is what I enjoy doing, this is what I want to get into. And it has to be ever changing. I never knew while I was in my college that, okay, someday I will become a cyber psychologist, or someday I will become India's first usability analyst, or I will become someone who designs for accessibility. I don't know how many of you all are even aware of that term, but I had a privilege to be the first developer in India who could develop a portal for a section which is applied in US. In India now it is mandatory as well, which is called a section 503, which deals with to accessibility, which is about making your product and your service accessible also to people with challenges. So for deaf communities, for dumb communities, for blind communities, how will they access our website? A common, today the websites have speakers, they can talk to you, so blind person can speak. For a deaf person, there is a different kind of subtitling coming for everything. Back then there was none of these available. The point here is to be optimistic, to be open to whatever new this thing comes up. Don't go with this thing that, no, I want to do only this. You never know how life is changing, and post pandemic we all should start believing that the beauty of life is in its uncertainty, where we really don't know what's going to happen next. If you have a very, very stringent plan that, okay, at this age I will do this, at this age I will do this, at this age I will do this, you will never enjoy the process, because you are having a framework, ye aisa hi hona chahiye. What if something again changes in life? Hence, having a very fluid flow of life is very, I'm not saying don't have a goal or an ambition. There's a difference. I'm saying don't have a framework within which you function. A lot of people, when I was switching from, having an established IT career, I've got awards in that field. I've got a lot of first timer recognitions and etc. I've got even awards for building amazing web portals as well. And they were like, are you crazy? You want to give up this field and get onto this? Because at that point, nobody knew that sometime in future, web and psychology's marriage will be called as cyber psychology is going to happen. When I also not switched, but when I also got myself trained as a counselor, as a counseling psychologist, was when a lot of people would say कि इसमें क्या पैसा है. Obviously what I earn in IT is definitely way bigger than what is, but it's everything is never about money. There has to be something that you do which you enjoy doing, and then look where life can take you. For me it has worked out brilliantly well, and that's why, like I said, that after 5 years of being into psychology stream, suddenly this whole wave of new marriage happened of internet and psychology, and that's how cyber psychology has shaped up. And today everyone will come and say that you made the best decision of your life. The point is, how many of us know at that point that it is the right decision or it's not, it's wrong? Follow your heart sometimes, because 99% of our decisions are always driven by the emotion. There are tons of studies on this. More than reading what others have written, trust your own instincts and your own experiences. Think about anything. Even if the last mobile that you bought, you might have done all your research that isme ye features hain, isme this is good, value for money is this, camera is good for this. At the end there is one pop up in the head, but I love it, and that's what you pick up. Every decision in life is about, so it's a big mirage that your decisions have to be well thought of. I'm not saying they have to be, they don't have to be well thought of, but at the end what actually works is the gut or is the emotion behind it. Same thing should be applied. If you're well aware of that, you can apply it better in every other decision of life. And when we make decisions, why we are very very scared of making decisions is because we are tying them to the end result. For example, when you choose this field, when you choose that or when you tell your parents that I want to study psychology and tomorrow I want to become cyber psychologist, what has happened here is that you have tied your decision of choosing humanities to becoming a cyber psychologist. Now that pressure is there कि अब बोल दिया है parents को तो बनना ही है. What happens in that process is you lose this whole process of enjoying psychology. You never know that in the study during, I never had decided to work with children and teenagers because I thought that I myself have child, and during my internship when I was working with children, it used to get very overwhelming that छोटे छोटे बच्चों को क्यों तकलीफ होती है, So I always had decided, I will work with adults only. It's easy. Session done. They are there. I am back home. I don't carry that heaviness with me and all. But where did I land up? I landed up working, choosing to work with you, children and teenagers, all the more. So the point is about not having a fixed mindset. Okay, this is what I want to do. While you are studying psychology, you may be inclined towards maybe taking up drug addiction as your specialty. India needs it big time. Cyber is going to be angle and aspect of everything that we do, because today drugs are also sourced online. No matter what you work on different types of therapies with them, your appointments will be your communication will be through internet medium. So obviously study of cyber psychology is always going to be part of it. Just don't go by the label of it कि no यही curriculum पढ़ना है. Now, besides the institutes that Dr. Rakesh mentioned, we also have Gujarat Forensics and Behavioral Science Institute, which offers an MSc in cyber psychology. It is not an online course, or even if it is online partially, but it's still a 2-year master's program. It's not a diploma or a certificate. So that is one which is in India. Besides, outside, there are a lot of certifications available. Of course, they are very expensive. The courses, if you have to do your master's and all, they're extremely expensive courses, which not just for the money's sake, but I still feel that the context of India, if you plan to come back and work with Indian audience, you will not learn in the technology, in the degree that you've learned outside, because it's like it's what happened to me with fashion industry. In our curriculum, they teach us all these fancy terms and all, but when we enter the industry, we have to work with karigars who are not even literate. So if I go and tell him that my croquis has to be of this height and this thing, and I want a hem stitch and all, he's going to look at me with a blank face. Madam, what are you talking about? Same thing happened over here. Here, the need of the hour is having a regional expert. All of us learn in English. All of us, can communicate well in English because our education is in English. But to translate this is where another specialization field or is where another area that you have. There are a lot of channels on awareness online and all, but in regional languages, very few. So these are places. Now, how can you think of these options and how can you think of these is only and only through passion, is from your experiences with people around you. When I actually got into psychology, before I cleared my masters, I had started my own practice because I had done a lot of certificate courses and all of that. And I used to be so passionate, मतलब कोई भी मिल जाता था मैं उसको पकड़ के बोलती थी कि यार, I'd learned graphology, so I started working with them that, hey, please write for me something. I've learned metaphor analysis. That's one of the beautiful most therapy to work upon, which is about drawings. So I would actually make them draw for me. आप draw करो and आप जाओ. But it's that passion in you which has to take over. That's where you can excel in any field, and then you get that confidence that, whatever comes my way, I will make the most of it. Then I had no idea that, I'm going to be amongst those pioneer cyber psychologists in our country. It happened. Why it happened? Because I was open to options coming my way. I was open to opportunities coming my way. And I was passionate about the work I was doing. So that's what I really wanted to share with you all. In a way, inspire many of you all that do not give up your dreams. After I finished my master's in commerce and I'm working in IT, I could have easily given up that. But because I held on to it, see how doors kept opening. I was the first one to do that course of usability in US, and I didn't have to go there. They came to India for the first time. So I could do it at 1/4 of the cost, the same curriculum, sitting in my own city, catering to my child, to my business, and parallelly learning. And what, of course, it's an expensive course. Whatever I invested, in the next month, I had a client where I could work and get that thing. So the point is, education never ends. Interest can keep changing. Don't bind yourself to what choices you made earlier. अगर earlier मैंने commerce किया, and I would have stuck to it कि नहीं यार अब commerce किया, how do I even switch into this? What will people think? This, that. Life would never give you these kind of opportunities if you get stuck to that. A lot of times we see that we make our, unfortunately, Indian education system is such that you have to make decisions of your future career at age of 19 and 20. While it's well understood and well said that your frontal cortex is still not fully developed till age of 21, which helps you make a rational choice, analytically think well and all that. But our country is still stuck up with the old systems, and what we can do individually is like system badalne ka, and frustration doesn't take you anywhere. Might as well tell it to our family members that it's okay if tomorrow you want to change your stream. If you've studied CA right now and you tomorrow want to get on and become an artist, so what? If you've chosen your humanities at this point, and if you feel you're not enjoying at some point of time or you're bored at some point of time, it's okay. There will be one door closing, will open more doors. Problem happens, we keep crying on the door that closed, and it just blinds our vision and we cannot see the more doors that have opened today. So this was about me in my 40 years of life and 25 years of career, almost 25, where a lot of this. So there's a very beautiful saying by Carl Jung that I am not the product of life, but I've made my own choices. It's about making choices, and that is the biggest threat that human mind perceives. Making decisions is the biggest cognitive load or to a human mind. And why I have explained, because we tie it to the end result. Our karma theory, which is ages old, it also tells karam kar, fal ki ichha mat rakh. Fal you will get in the process. But if we, of course, that all sounds spiritual and gyan to us at this point of time, though, because I am in that age and stage of life, I can still go back and quote that to you. But yeah, had I been in my 20s, I would have also said, yaar, gyan mat do. So we understand, but it's a fact that if we only and only focus in doing, which is the basic essence of human being or a human form of life. You focus on doing, you will automatically keep moving towards your destination. And hence, having a larger destination is extremely important. So from my journey, if you all want to, if you've been inspired in any ways and you have any questions, feel free to ask. I have not shared too much about cyber psychology because I think Dr. Rakesh has covered a lot of it. There is tons of it available all across the internet. Besides that, any of this. So what I believe now as a person, I am more of a groundwork doer than an academic person. And hence, you can talk to me about the cases that I've dealt. In this pandemic, from April 20 till date, more than 10,000 complaints or reports of cyberbullying I've got on my portal, and we've been working day in, day out on that. So these experiences also shape up and sharpen up your skills in dealing. It's the same sextortion, but how it has impacted a victim differently. How many factors have contributed to this? So there are so many such learnings on day-to-day basis. So please feel free if you have any questions to ask.
I've been going through the comment sections both on Zoom and YouTube. I can't help but smile because a lot of people are, lauding your resilience and your sheer hard work that has gone through in your almost 25-year career. There are people who are wishing you that, we wish you go successful with a 75 plus career, which
Thank
is,
you.
which is, I think,
That's the
wonderful.
key. That's the key. Work. This needs to be in a active phase. The empty mind, devil zone. So I always also, since you brought up this point, there's something that I want to tell that, see, I understand here we are all young people. And right now we are focused on our career. But also think about how you can engage your grandparents. Pushing them towards social engagements is extremely important because that is the only way our cognition is active. The moment this goes down is where dementia and various other problems of that age seek in. So it's very important. And yes, whether I live to 75 or not, I don't know, but I'm going to be working till the last breath I can. And we all will find our cause if we are aware, if we are living in that particular moment, not being struck by that age is a factor. When I was doing my masters, I was 36, and the only time I used to get to study was night 11 to morning 3. That was the only time I could study. They were of course, your family is the biggest support, and they always do, because I had a growing child with me as well. But nothing can stop you if you want. Everyone was telling me health kharab ho jayegi because morning 6:30 I have to wake up my kid's school. So the only time, whereas I'm a person who till date needs 9 hours of sleep. Without, unless 9, I cannot function. But this is so powerful that if we tame it, if we know that this is what we are going to, this is what I want to do, everything else falls in place. And I never fell sick in my those 2 years where literally I was sleeping only 3 hours or 4 hours, or maybe on the weekends I might sleep 6-8 hours. That's about it. So engaging this productively is the essence of being into this stream. And I think when you talk about human psyche, it all begins from here.
What the?
Yes, ma'am. So one question that we have on the Q&A is, due to the pandemic and just in general, our consumption of social media has increased greatly. Is it possible to be facing social media gaming addiction? If yes, what are some red flags to look out for?
Right. So thank you so much for this question. It is definitely the burning question across. Um, so first, I will answer this in two parts. Let's first understand that these words, which are clinical words like addiction, depression, anxiety. Unfortunately, we all have started using it very loosely. While a clinical depression or a clinical anxiety is very different compared simply saying that, hey, I'm anxious. Clinical anxiety is very different than what just being anxious or just being worried about is about. It's extremely different. Now, in terms of understanding that what the number of hours that I spend on internet, or the increase in dependency. So what I would suggest is initially always use the word my dependency on social media. That is the correct term, and not say that I'm getting addicted. You may say that I'm getting dependent on that. There are few very specific characteristics of moving towards addiction, such as if you are, even when your mobile is kept aside, let's say right now that we are in this conference, and if you're connected from your laptops and your mobile devices are away, but still you're constantly thinking what has come on Instagram, what has come on Twitter, this, that. That's one flag, that you're not able to push that aside and focus on any other activity and be 100% present in that activity. Number two is, all the time, or rather feeling restless when you don't see your mobile, or when you see your internet connection is poor, or when your WhatsApp shows connecting. If that is something that gets you extremely restless, mobile battery is dying and there is no plug point, that's another flag that you must get yourself assessed for this thing. Then the third flag is where anything that you have to decide. Supposedly, if your home environment, or let's say your mom is coming and asking you, what will you eat? If you feel that you've not even heard that question, that's something to think about. Obviously, this particular question, to none of us here. That's only after becoming a mother we realize that, okay, I also never heard it as a child. But what I'm trying to say is that if you're not able to switch between the environments, that if you're playing a game, and in that frame of mind, your reaction from a game is spilling over into the real world, into your interactions in that real world, then that is also another flag that you need to, because I could be watching an extremely scary movie, but at the same time, I'm not going to be fearful of, if somebody is that everyone around me is also going to come and harm me or something like that. So to be able to differentiate and switch between the different mediums, if that's not happening, if that is being challenged, then that's another very important flag not to miss out. And lastly, if your sleep and if your food has been compromised because of the time that you have put into this, has led to you staying all the time cranky, either completely having a not addiction, but a craving for junk, or overeating, or completely abstaining from eating, any extreme change in sleep and food is the first most and the most important flag which comes with this. So these are some flags which you can, spot on very clearly. People who are more and more dependent on screen, overall also you will find them by nature getting more hyper, getting more anxious, being a little more reactive in everything, and their reactions becoming extreme. But if they are, when they are away from that screen for whatever short amount of time, if they are not able to bounce back to the other way of behavior, then that's a flag. While in that game, we understand it's like, when you are on a football field, you are in that aggressive mode, but once the field and the game is over, are you going to behave the same? If yes, then it's a flag. So these are some things. Stop getting worried that just because I'm spending 2 hours extra on this thing, or I'm playing game, or today I just feel like binging something, I'm going to get addicted. No. Most of the times your fear will make you so anxious that nahi bhi hoga to bhi you will start getting all these flags and all these symptoms. Not every person who spends more time on internet is going to be addicted. No, there are a lot of factors into this. The time used for what? So divide between your recreational use, your productive use, and your academic use. Keep a proper check on your recreational use, because from there is where entertainment and sense of belonging where you get more, whether it's on your social media browsing, whether it's on your game, is what is going to lead to doing that more. So it's a cyclic process. Pleasure value, it increases your dopamine, you feel like having more of it, and then it goes on. So hence, curbing onto the entertainment time that you spend as per the screen time guidelines, which for adults is not beyond 2 hours ideally. These are all guidelines, these are ideal. In certain cases, people who are in gaming industry, they might have to spend a little more time. So being aware of that is what is important. So I hope I have answered your question in a way that you know what to look out for and how to identify and be comfortable doing what you're doing.
So with that, I am going to close the Q&A session. I'd like to thank you so much, because even yesterday when I was discussing this topic with you, I mentioned that more than the theoretical part of what cyber psychology is all about, your experiences, your journey, something that I have had the opportunity to know from you, that is something, if you could share with the audience, it's something that will really resonate with them. That whole story of resilience, how you have had to face all these different hurdles, come on top each time, and in the end finally pursue exactly what you decided to pursue right at the beginning. So life has brought you full circle. So
And it's still going on.
it's going on.
So I always believe that it's just the start.
Correct. So with all that said, thank you so much for giving us this hour of your time and sharing this experience with all of our audience. I'm sure they have had a lot to learn from this. And as a token of our appreciation and love, I'd like to ask the tech